Well, good evening, everyone. I appreciate everyone coming out here tonight. So hopefully we will give you a good insight in the Gen Y. And before I go into that, I want to thank Deloitte and Marketing Associates for this opportunity to further explore Generation Y, our generation, as you might have it. But the key is Generation Y is extremely important. We all know it's a huge generation, but it's a changing generation. And it's key to see that Gen Y is evolving. And not only that, sustainability in the automotive industry is still in its early stages of mass adoption in this sense. And we were charged with looking at sustainability specifically and really combining and gaining insight into these two specific areas and really capturing the voice of this evolving generation, Generation Y. And we did this in a couple of different ways. First, looking at the Deloitte data, specifically looking at it from a standpoint of sustainability and their automotive purchases, and really gaining insight into their perceptions and motivations. But this only tells part of this story. And before that, we had sliced the data every which way imaginable in terms of sustainability with the Deloitte survey, and we couldn't find any specific information that really led to specific segments. So in essence, the context of sustainability, it's a mass segment. So for you as an industry, this is great. From the point of view of sustainability, it's one segment. But again, this only tells us the perceptions and motivations. So we moved forward with personal interviews and focus groups and took it a step further with conjoint analysis and really looking at the trade-offs. So when it comes down to it, you can feel good, you can think about it, but what's ultimately your actions in accordance with sustainable products? And then finally, the real reason you're here, what are those key takeaways to take back to your specific organization? To have a better understanding of Gen Y and sustainability, what we think, how we act, and ultimately, what's in it for me as Gen Y to get our ultimate dollar. And so we're on the same page. Let's look at our definition, borrowed by the UN, of sustainability. And that is to meet the needs of the present without compromising the needs of future generations. That's extremely important to have that concept. And it's not just embodying environmentalism. So let's start out. Looking at the Deloitte data, we pulled several quotes from the open-ended questions that really embody the sentiment of Generation Y.
I don't care. Give me good gas mileage without paying more, figure out how to save the environment without charging me more, and I'm all for it.
The personal economic impact is the most important factor, but I wouldn't mind paying a little more for an environmentally friendly car.
I'm concerned more about efficiency in terms of fuel, for my own well-being rather than the state of the environment. However, I guess I am a bit concerned about the environment.
Those are powerful statements right there that really, like I said, embody Generation Y and what their thoughts and motivations are for sustainability. But there's three themes or motivations based on these quotes that really line up with the three pillars of sustainability set forth nearly 3 decades ago by the United Nations. And it was really the forefront and foundation for the triple bottom line, which is really relevant in today's society. So what were they? Environmental, social, and economical. But what do they mean specifically? Let's start out with the environmental aspect. First, there's an education dilemma. And this is huge right here. That Gen Y, they understand sustainability, at least perceptually. They've grown up in an age of green tech, global warming, recycling. They've heard all of this. It's really important. But when it comes to green tech in the auto industry, there's not that steadfast understanding. You have hybrid, you have electric, you have biodiesel, a ton of different technologies. And when it comes to Gen Y, they don't have that true understanding of what each technology, how it really affects them as an individual and how the benefits are really coming to Gen Y. And then finally, we looked at the brand perceptions. At least now in the present day, the Japanese brands are perceived to be much more sustainable than their counterparts in America and Europe. But when you think about it, and this is really relevant, that the Ford and the Model T, way back in yesteryear, was extremely sustainable. So it shows that American companies, American Auto, can do it, and they've been doing it. You have the Volt from Chevy pushing the electric, and then you have the Ford Fusion for hybrid, and several other ones out there. Next, we'll look at the social motivations. We know that peer perceptions are extremely important. Social clout is extremely important. They're not going anywhere. Generation Y has grown up in the connected age, the age of the internet, the age of Facebook. When something happens to Gen Y, to us, immediately our social network knows about it. That's extremely important. And I think a very good concluding remark here is that considering all else equal in terms of an automobile, that they'd choose the car that said hybrid just because of how it looked in front of others. And that shows you that just the clout that the word hybrid has with our generation. And if you think about it, sports car and luxury used to be those cool factors out there. But it's almost as if there's a third dimension coming to play, that it's cool to have an environmental technology in your specific car. And then finally, the economics. When it comes down to it, our generation wants to save money. The generation that I come from is getting older. And it comes down to, we like the environment, we get it, we want to be cool, the social part, but it comes down to that dollar. And it all wraps up with this quote here, taken directly from the Deloitte data, that considering the environment, they get it, we understand it, but it all comes down to the good looks, the social part, and down to the functional, the rational, the economical part. But the Deloitte data only tells part of the story, the motivations and the perceptions of Gen Y. Now we have to look at the specific things that are really important to them, the specific sustainable attributes.